Howdy, y'all. I'm Mario Sanchez. This is Juicebox Sports Podcast, the number one podcast in the great state of Texas, presented by Anchor.fm. Because of COVID slamming the roster of the Cleveland Browns, Washington football team, and the Rams, the NFL broke from stated policy and changed this week's schedule. The Las Vegas and Cleveland game, originally scheduled for Saturday, was shifted on to Monday. The Washington versus at Philadelphia and Seattle at Rams game, originally scheduled for Sunday, were moved to Tuesday. Who knows what's in store for Green Bay, which has only defensive tackle Kenny Clark on the COVID list ahead of Sunday's showdown at Baltimore Ravens. But this week, schedule changes have created a slight advantage for the Packers for next week. Instead of having a one-day rest disadvantage to face Cleveland on Christmas Saturday, they will have a one-day rest advantage. Yeah, I'm not going to worry about that, Packers coach Matt LaFleur said on Friday. We're solely focused on the Baltimore Ravens, and if we focus on anything other than that, we're going to put ourselves not in the best position to win a football game against one of the best teams in the league, so I'm not going to worry about that. We'll just adjust as we have, like we did today. Shoot. They came out with the protocols last night, and we adjusted today, but that's kind of where we're at. The schedule changes created Monday and Tuesday doubleheaders. On Monday, it will be the Raiders and Browns at 4 p.m. Central on NFL Network. The Vikings and Bears are scheduled at 7:20 p.m. on ESPN. The Tuesday games, both set for 6 p.m. Central, will air on Fox. We have made these schedule changes based on medical advice and after discussion with the NFLPA, as we are seeing a new highly transmissible form of virus this week, stating, "Nobody's happy, especially the healthy teams who had their games moved, which will put them at a disadvantage for the following week." And it left at least one Packers player wondering about changing league policy. On the other hand, Week 15 predictions: the Houston Texans, the Jacksonville Jaguars, both horrendous franchises sitting at 2-11, will have a sopping wet slap fight Sunday at Jacksonville. While the Texans stay the course with many of their bad decisions, the Jaguars dropped one of their very quickly jettisoning head coach Urban Meyer after only 13 games. Texans definitely will win that game, 24-17. A bold move by the Jacksonville Jaguars for sure. Does it mean that they're a good franchise or a better one than the Texans? No, it does not. They deserve credit for ejecting quickly from an obvious horrid situation. I think it kind of does. In general, the football world is surprised at how horribly this season went for Meyer, who was hired at a lot of fanfare. Sure, there were folks who didn't think Matt Meyer would translate well to the NFL, but the very vast majority did not look at a hire and say, "What the absolute," as they did with a certain other goofball AFC South franchise. Yes, sir, the Texans will be out there looking to reduce penalties and turnovers, as that is apparently the reason they are so bad. The game plans and the coaches are great guys. The team just has to execute the game plan better. But also the coaches need to coach better. Whatever, man. I have that football feeling, or it might maybe a goofball sized kidney stone. We'll consider multiple Texans as recently diagnosed for COVID, and it is spreading around the nation fairly quickly. This week's slate of games may not happen, or potentially next week. If we do play, I think Jaguars are capable of rallying around the change in their locker room to put together a good performance. However, I doubt their offense will be transforming in a matter of days. I can see Trevor Lawrence playing a cleaner game, but that doesn't excuse some of the bad habits has occurred. For him in the league, I'm hoping he gets it together, but his mental and confidence are striking. The game is about more than Urban. It's about sending in the NFL draft. I've reading about how the third pick may have more equitable value than the second overall pick. I'm assuming this will be a race to the bottom, but overall, it will be curious as to how both teams approach this game. Considering when these draft picks come to fruition, most of the players on the current roster, so they aren't exactly fighting for their own futures when trying to lose games. Going to the NFC East, the Cowboys will face the New York Giants. We favored the Cowboys to win 36-24. They're a great team. They're a really great team. They need to get their stuff together, and their leaders got to step up if they want to go to the playoffs. With all of the talk that around Dak Prescott and his maybe slump, it feels strange to say that the Dallas Cowboys are on a two-game winning streak and one game out of the top spot in the NFC. Yet that's where we are at as the Cowboys travel to New Jersey to take on the Giants. The last time these two teams faced each other, everyone was talking about it the 1 year anniversary of Prescott's season ending ankle injury before the quarterback threw 300 plus yards and three touchdowns in a 44-20 rout over New York. It's funny then that this week everyone is talking about whether or not Prescott's calf is the cause of the subpar performance lately. Before, perhaps it will lead to yet another stellar performance from Prescott, who hasn't lost to this team since his rookie year. Both of these teams are very different from their last clash, though. For the Giants, they fired offense coordinator Jason Garrett 3 weeks ago. After repeated disappointing outings from their offense, Freddie Kitchens, former Browns head coach for all 1 year, took over the play calling the offense and has done about as much as he did during his time in Cleveland. The Giants crossed the 20-point threshold just once since firing Garrett, and it came in their most recent game. But in the NFC North, the Green Bay Packers will reign victorious once again against the Ravens 24-17, and that's a promise for sure. One Friday he doesn't practice, the next Friday he does practice, and then the next one he doesn't. Such has been life for the Green Bay Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers and his fractured toe. He did not get any work in practice this week leading up to Sunday's game at Baltimore. But the Packers, 10-3, still aren't worried about it slowing down their offense. He did not do anything today other than our walkthrough prior to practice, Packer coach Matt LaFleur said Friday. But as far as him playing in the game, we do not have any concerns, certainly. Yeah, you would love to have him get those live reps just for those timing purposes. But again, it is what it is. We all make the best of it. and there's no doubt in my mind he will be ready to go. Last week, Rodgers practiced on Friday, 2 days before the Packers' 45-30 win over the Chicago Bears. Before that, Rodgers didn't practice at all leading up to their 36-28 win over the Los Angeles Rams on November 28th. In fact, before he practiced last Friday, he had not taken part in any rigorous practice since November 19, 2 days prior to their 34-31 loss at Minnesota. It will be at least another week before Rodgers has an all-pro left tackle David Bakhtiari back in the lineup. Despite Bakhtiari's return to practice this week on a limited basis, the Packers have ruled him out for Sunday. He has not played in nearly a year since he tore his ACL on December 31st. Right tackle Billy Turner, who suffered knee injury against the Bears, also is out for this week. Packers have three receivers on the injury report: Marquez Valdes-Scantling, Malik Taylor, and both questionable, while Equanimeous St. Brown is doubtful. That's in addition to Randall Cobb, who is on injury reserve following core muscle surgery. Packers also will be light on the defense line with Pro Bowl nose tackler Kenny Clark on the reserve COVID-19 list. LaFleur said it was unlikely that Clark could be clear in time to play Sunday's game, even with the NFL new return to play protocols put in place on Thursday. Thank you for listening to the Juicebox Sports Podcast. This podcast has been brought to you by Raise Energy. Check us out on Instagram at JuiceboxSportsHTX. Till next time.